In a football world rife with volatility and the hidden machinations behind the velvet curtain of the Premier League, the story of the hot seat at Old Trafford always remains the focal point for the curiosity of aficionados. Recent unexpected developments regarding the shakeup in the technical area have opened an interesting new chapter where individual ambitions collide with the vital long-term strategies of major clubs. One of the most surprising details recently revealed is that Italian strategist Roberto De Zerbi proactively contacted Manchester United to explore the opportunity of taking over the team before he officially agreed to join Tottenham Hotspur. This was a bold move by the 44-year-old manager, who was once hailed as a tactical wizard at Brighton, but is currently experiencing a low point in his career. However, contrary to speculations about a potential pairing between a romantic footballing soul and a team desperate to rediscover its identity, Manchester United quickly and decisively extinguished De Zerbi's hopes. The Old Trafford side asserted in a cold but heavyweight manner that he was not part of the club's long-term plans or future vision. A fierce rejection that shows the Red Devils hierarchy holds an ironclad belief in another path, a path named Michael Carrick. In reality, the name De Zerbi was once weighed as a potential candidate to fill the vast void left by Ruben Amorim after the Portuguese strategist was dismissed this past January. At that time, Manchester United was like a ship lost in a storm, and De Zerbi's reputation for beautiful, possession-based football in England still resonated strongly. Yet, when the Italian strategist proactively reached out to seek a prestigious landing spot, he hit an impenetrable wall. The definitive negation from Manchester United's board was not merely a polite refusal. It reflected a serious decline in De Zerbi's prestige following a tempestuous stint at Marseille. His days in France, once expected to be a springboard for him to reach the continental elite, turned into a series of professional and psychological tragedies. The final straw was the humiliating 0-5 home defeat to arch-rivals Paris Saint-Germain in February, a loss that not only exposed systemic weaknesses, but also showed De Zerbi's loss of control over the dressing room and his own emotions. His departure from the French port city as a failure caused his value on the managerial market to plummet significantly, making it impossible for the Red Devils to risk their future on someone in a stage of violent fluctuation in both form and personal image. The deepest and most important reason why Manchester United was not interested in any proactivity from De Zerbi or any other foreign candidate is the brilliant and convincing performance of Michael Carrick. Since being entrusted with the interim role amidst a backdrop of skepticism, the elegant former midfielder has executed a true revolution, quietly but incredibly powerfully. Carrick is not merely a firefighter. He has breathed new life into Old Trafford, lifting Manchester United to third place in the Premier League with a style of play that is vibrant, balanced, and deeply rooted in the club's traditional identity. The Manchester United board, particularly with the presence of the Ineos Group, is currently prioritizing a top-4 finish to secure a Champions League spot for next season, and they perceive Carrick as the most suitable person to realize that goal. Instead of rushing into complex interviews with risky new candidates, the club is creating all favorable conditions for Carrick to formalize his role. The positive environment, the solidarity of the players, and the impressive results on the pitch that Carrick has generated have completely convinced the hierarchy, creating the necessary stability that the Red Devils had lost for a long time. While Manchester United chose the path of stability and trust in a familiar face, Roberto De Zerbi, after being rejected at Old Trafford, quickly reached an agreement to become the new head coach of Tottenham Hotspur this past Tuesday. However, his journey in North London began with rough waves and suffocating pressure from the supporters. In his very first week in office, the strategist had to confront ghosts from the past, when controversial statements regarding striker Mason Greenwood during his time at Marseille were unearthed. Tottenham fan groups fiercely protested an attitude they perceived as overly protective of his former pupil regarding sensitive issues of ethics and violence. Although De Zerbi spoke out to apologize and affirmed that he always stands by the vulnerable and has never intended to downplay the issue of violence against women, this stormy start is a stark contrast to the peaceful and confident atmosphere blanketing Carrington under Carrick. Manchester United chose to stay out of media troubles and unnecessary psychological fluctuations by placing their faith in Carrick's moderation and composure, rather than a De Zerbi shrouded in character doubts. The rise of Michael Carrick at Old Trafford stems not only from his own capabilities, but also from the self-destruction and withdrawal of a host of other heavyweight candidates. Oliver Glasner, who was once high on Ineos's priority list due to his success at Eintracht Frankfurt, made things difficult for himself with a string of disasters at Crystal Palace. From admitting an inability to turn the tide to publicly criticizing his own home fans, Glasner's reputation was seriously damaged in the eyes of the Red Devils owners. Another potential candidate, Thomas Tuchel, who was once very close to the hot seat at United, also removed himself from the market by deciding to extend his contract with the England national team until Euro 2028. Tuchel's withdrawal and the decline of others like De Zerbi or Glasner have inadvertently cleared the path for Carrick, transforming him from a temporary solution into the leading and sole candidate for the official position. Michael Carrick is in perfect control of every factor within his reach, from receiving the public and absolute support of the players to the dignified demeanor of a true captain in press conferences. His presence has brought the necessary stability to the team during a volatile transition period, something that more famous predecessors all failed to achieve. However, all objective factors and board support would be meaningless if Carrick himself did not prove his actual capacity on the pitch. And he is doing so more excellently than expected by restoring the club's heroic identity. Carrick does not just focus on short-term results. He frequently appears at academy matches, showing a deep concern for the long-term future of the team. His courage in handing debut opportunities to young talents like Tyler Fletcher and applying a proactive, controlled, yet explosive attacking philosophy has touched the hearts of even the most demanding fans. Looking at the big picture, it is clear that Manchester United made a milestone decision in rejecting De Zerbi to protect Carrick's development. For a club always under the media microscope and facing immense pressure for results like Manchester United, psychological stability and internal understanding are key factors leading to success. Carrick, as a former insider who has absorbed the club's DNA, possesses the moderation and composure that were his trademarks during his playing days. A complete contrast to the lack of restraint and psychological pressure that De Zerbi is currently undergoing. Michael Carrick is making everyone believe that he is truly the chosen one to lead the Red Devils into a new era, where stability and identity are prioritized. The quiet revolution at Carrington is ongoing, and with every victory and every young talent introduced, Carrick further affirms that the board's decision to reject De Zerbi was a masterstroke, opening up a promising future for the red half of Manchester. Manchester United does not need a volatile foreign wizard. They need a leader who understands every corner of Old Trafford, someone who can keep a cool head in the furnace of the Premier League, and Michael Carrick is the perfect embodiment of that trust.